Hey everybody, this is TJR. Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 are the follow-up albums from Guns N' Roses' debut album, Appetite for Destruction. They were released simultaneously back in September of 1991, 4 years after the release of Appetite for Destruction. Now, during those 4 years, most bands might have lost a certain amount of momentum. But for Guns N' Roses, it just fueled and heightened the anticipation for its release. And yes, I know that Lies was released in 1988, but I do not consider Lies to be a full-length studio album. I consider it to be an EP, irregardless of what Nelson SoundScan says. Now, I purchased both albums back in the day, and after several listens, I have to admit that I found myself to be somewhat underwhelmed by most of the final product. To better illustrate this, when iTunes finally came along, I imported only 4 tracks from Illusion 2 into my iTunes and nothing else. I recently checked my physical music collection and realized that I don't even own a copy of either one anymore. No doubt I traded them both in for trade credit at my local used CD music store, back when those existed. Over the decades, my taste in just about everything has changed, grown, and evolved. There are foods that I didn't like as a kid that I like now. Music is, in my opinion, no different. And I have proven this to myself over and over again. So it occurred to me that maybe I should re-listen to Use Your Illusion, Volume 1 and 2, and see how it sounds to me now and see if my thoughts on it haven't changed. So in this video, I am going to listen to Use Your Illusion, Volume 1, from start to finish for the first time in probably decades. I'm going to do my absolute best to set aside my opinions of the past and listen with fresh ears and see if I don't hear it differently. By the way, for the sake of brevity, I will edit out most of the listening portions from this video and just include my reactions. Oh, and what about Use Your Illusion Volume 2? That'll be in the next video. Okay, let's get started. So right now, I'm just pulling up the album here on Tidal. While I recognize the names of some of the tracks on the album, the majority of them, I do not recognize them at all. That tells me how long it's been since I've heard any of this. I recognize Don't Cry. Of course, I recognize the remake of Live and Let Die. November Rain is on this album here, but most of what I see here, I don't really recognize anymore. So let's give this a shot. We're going to start with track 1, Right Next Door to Hell. Right here, a good solid groove. Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't appeal to me more back in the day. Okay, I am almost to the end of this, and I was reading the lyrics here. I think what initially I probably didn't like about this song is just Axl's vocal. It's kind of incomprehensible. He seems to be trying to get too many words out. I looked at the lyrics online, and the lyrics are actually pretty darn good, but his phrasing is just not quite where it should be. I would either say find a different way to phrase the lyrics. If I was in the producer's chair, I would say try to find a way to shorten the lyrics. Say the same thing with less words, but he's just rapid firing all these words, and it's not working for me in that respect. Aerosmith's, Walk This Way is a good example of rapid firing lyrics in a song, and it works well. You can catch what's being said. But in this song, I can't catch a lot of what he's saying without looking at the lyrics. And it's a shame because they are good lyrics. But I think maybe a little bit of time should have been spent on helping with the phrasing of those lyrics and making them a little more intelligible, but also just making them feel a little bit more in the groove of the song. I think the song has a good groove. I don't think the vocal melody quite does that as well as the rest of the band is doing. The chorus is fine, by the way. That's the end of the track. Yeah, I think I pretty much summed it up previously. good groove from the band, but the vocal just needs something extra. It needs some work, and I think most of that work is in how the lyrics are being phrased. So this takes us to track 2, Dust and Bones. Okay, wow. I'm surprised I didn't like this back in the day. This is, yeah, just a good rock and roll tune. It's not reinventing the wheel, but it's just a good solid rock and roll tune, good solid groove. Let's check out more. Okay, wow, good chorus here. Good solid build up out of the chorus into the next verse. Wow, I'm just, like I said, I'm surprised that this did not hit me stronger back in the day. This is a really good track here. Wow, yeah, once again, I'm really glad to have rediscovered this particular track. I'm not sure why I didn't like it back in the day, but that was quite a while ago, and just really glad that I can honestly say this is a really great track. I love this one. So next we have Live and Let Die, which is a remake, of course, of the Paul McCartney song. And my memory is that I did like Guns N' Roses' remake of this. I'm not sure why this one wasn't imported into my iTunes, but I'm just going to listen to it again because it is part of the album, although I have a feeling my thoughts on this are not going to change anything. Okay, I have to say I'm surprised again, but not in the same way. I remember really liking this version 19 some years ago, and I'm not going to say I hate it now. I'm not going to say I dislike it. There's a lot of good things about it. Most notably, the production is excellent. Also, I really like Slash's guitar playing. In particular, I like the way he's chosen to cover certain instrumentation in the original and retranslate it to guitar. He makes some very good choices. I'm impressed with his guitar playing, in particular on this song. I'm overall, in the Slash camp. He's a really good guitar player, but I'm very impressed with the choices he made for this remake here. But there's something missing, in my opinion. I don't think they've quite locked onto the groove of this song. And there are moments where it feels just not quite right. The timing, the groove is just not quite there in sections. Although there are other parts where it flows really well. I would probably need more listens to really put my finger on what it is exactly. But quite frankly, I'm surprised that I don't feel as strongly about this now as I did, say, 19 some years ago. Was not expecting to feel this way. This brings us now to track 4, entitled Don't Cry, parentheses, original. I know this track is featured on the second one as well. So we're going to check out this one here. I have to pause and just say I really, really like Slash's solo in this song. I really like his phrasing. I like everything about it. Have to say I do like this track better than originally. I remember liking it back in the day, but obviously not enough to keep it or to import it into iTunes. Strong track, good recording. Maybe the only thing that I would be critical about is that long at the end of it with Axl's voice. I think it would have been better just to let the band kind of fade out, and I like the little lick at the end, do 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 with the guitar. I have a feeling that maybe that's not in the second one. That's later. Once again, I haven't heard any of this in a long time. Yeah, probably 19 years ago. But yeah, I really did enjoy this one a lot more. And so now let's get to track 5, which is called Perfect Crime. Okay, so I want to stop here and talk about the rapid fire delivery. I mentioned that in the previous song, Right Next Door to Hell, where it wasn't working for me. During this part of the song, this rapid fire delivery works. Here it's working well with the track. Let's check out more. At this point, I find myself not paying attention to the vocal that much. The delivery doesn't work for me, but the groove of the band is so strong that that's what's really carrying me on this. Okay, you know, I can't remember originally hearing that 19 years ago, but clearly it's making a better impact on me now than it was then. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good, and I think that with more listens I would start to like it more. Mostly what stands out for me is just the really solid groove from the band on this. Axl's vocal phrasing is pretty good for the most part during the verses, not so much during the choruses, though it's not terrible. But yeah, overall this track is working for me. Let's go to the next one, which is You Ain't the First. And I don't remember what this originally sounded like back in the day.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Where's change? Your day's been numbered and
wow, this is a cool track. Really enjoyed hearing this. Really glad that I can feel so differently about this now after all this time. Okay, let's finish this one and get to the next track, which is called Bad Obsession. Here we go. Great solid groove. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is full of surprises today. Man, let's keep listening. That song was locked and loaded. Great performance. The band is just on it. And the groove is just solid. I could barely contain myself. This song makes me want to get up and dance. This song makes me want to pull out my guitar and start jamming to it. Yeah. Whew. New favorite. Definitely. Okay, let's listen to the next track. That's called Back Off Bitch. Here we go. Okay, so before any vocals even start, good solid groove. Let's see what happens. Right away, I'm feeling like the vocal melody is not as strong. The vocal groove, the melody, the phrasing is not as strong as the groove that started the track. I'm not saying it's terrible, just not as strong, so it kind of brings it down a little bit. But then it leads into this section and it regains its strength again. It regains the power that it had at the beginning. Yeah, definitely this chorus section much stronger than the verse section. Okay, that was a really good closing. Not my favorite on the album. It's got its good points. It's got its bad points. All in all, pretty good, I guess. Maybe with more listens, I'll appreciate it more. But definitely made a stronger impact now versus back in the day. Let's go to track 9, which is Double Talkin' Jive. I have no recollection of what this track sounds like either. Here we go. I just want to stop real quick and just say great guitar groove. I want to say I really like this instrumental bridge here quite a bit. By keeping the guitar lines simple, Slash has allowed this song to have a very epic feel to it, or at this point in the track. This part is really nicely done. Wow. Oh wait, there's more. I have to admit, I was not completely on board with this song when it started, but by the time we got to that instrumental to the ending, I was totally on board. Definitely going to need to listen to this one a few more times. I definitely think I'm probably going to appreciate it more as time goes on. Let me finish this track out, though. I need to finish. We're almost done, but this is going to bring us to November Rain. And of course, November Rain was, I remember, a song that a lot of people really liked. I did not hate the song. I thought it was a pretty good song. But I think what bothered me about November Rain, it felt like it was trying too hard. Trying too hard to be epic and artsy, and nothing wrong with any of that, with trying to do that. But it felt like it was trying a little too hard at times. And so this is going to be interesting to see how I respond to this one here. Let the rest of the last song play out here. Here we go. November Rain. I have to pause and just say that I can still remember Slash's solo in this because it's really good. Great job on the guitar solo, and I know it's going to even get better as we move into the rest of the song here. I have to admit, these breaks are hitting me a lot stronger than previous times. The song's gonna start killing it right here. Okay, definitely this is hitting me stronger than it did all those years ago. I can remember this one girl who loved this song so much, she said she got the CD just so she could play that song on constant repeat over and over again. And I can see where this song, for the generation growing up with it, for them, it could potentially be their stairway to heaven. Definitely feeling a lot stronger about this track than previously. I still think the intro is a little too long. It needs to be shortened up a little bit, but much, much stronger than I remember. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say for right now. This brings us to track 12, entitled Garden of Eden. I have no recollection of how this sounds. I'm going to just stop here. I can kind of see why I didn't like it back then and why I don't care for it too much now. It almost feels like a Guns N' Roses parody. You know, like let's take a lot of Guns N' Roses cliches and throw them together into a song and do a parody of Guns N' Roses, except it's not funny. I'm going to listen to the rest and see if it doesn't get better for me, but I'm not holding my breath on this one. Okay, it improves when the guitar solo comes in, I'll give it that much. Great solo Slash. So far, this is the best part of the song. Okay, yeah, let's take everything that's cliched about Guns N' Roses and pack it into roughly 2.5 minutes, slightly over 2.5 minutes. Who's counting? Thankfully, this track is fairly short. I think that with a little work, this could have been a much stronger track, though. There's definitely potential here. It just isn't reached in this recording. So let's check out the next one, Don't Dream. Okay, I feel like this track is doing what the previous one, Garden of Eden, was trying to do, but is doing it a lot better. I like the slow break that that came in there. I enjoyed that. Okay, not a great, not an A track, not a B track, not a terrible track. Not one of the stronger tracks on this album, better than the previous one. I think this one might have benefited from the shorter running time of the previous track. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think it would have been a tighter track. This track feels like a filler track, you know. Maybe I should give it a few more listens before I pass final judgment, but it feels like a filler track. The next one is called Bad Apples. Here we go. I love this opening. It's great. This song has a really good groove. I'm really enjoying this. I like Axl's piano lines there. They're not like way in front. They're a little bit buried, but they add just the right amount of texture. I'm enjoying that. Good solo by Slash. Excellent. Yeah, that's a pretty strong track. That's definitely a B track at the very least, if not an A track. Yeah, gonna want to hear this one some more times, I think. Hopefully it gets even stronger as I listen to it. Really solid. So this brings us now to track 15, Dead Horse. Here we go. Dead Horse.
Sick of this life. Not that you care.
Great transition. I think this section could really benefit from some piano by Axl. Like on the last song, I think it would really benefit on this part of the song, but who knows, maybe he'll bring it in later. Let's check it out. I like this. Like how it transitions back to the acoustic section at the end there. Yeah, that's a really strong track. And glad I have rediscovered this. So now we're to the last song, which is called Coma. Here we go. I have to stop. I don't recall the big heartbeat effect there at all. Wow. This is like hearing it all for the first time for 95% of this. Let's start it over again. Sorry about that. I love this dark buildup. This is great. I love it. And just when I think it's gotten as intense as it can get, it gets more intense. This is wonderful. This is great. Wow, I can't believe I don't remember this track. I mean, it's got to be somewhere in my subconscious because I listened to these albums back when they came out. This feels like an Alice Cooper track. Its theatrical style, its sound, and even the vocal. And I know I'm just barely into, what is it, maybe the first, not even the first, it's the first minute of the song. I just checked it here on Tidal. I'm digging this already, and we're only a minute in. Let's check out the rest. It's cool that it came back to this section here. Suddenly it's occurring to me this track is like over 10 minutes long. This is an epic track here. Much more so than I was expecting. I've got to hear this part with headphones. There's all these voices. Most of them are women, it sounds like. And it sounds like they are complaining about Axl. Gee, I wonder why. But I have a feeling this part is very funny, especially if I hear it on headphones. That's definitely going to be next. Let's check out the rest. Here we go. Okay. Let it finish here. Okay. There were moments when I wasn't sure if this song was going to be worthy of its length, if it wouldn't buckle under its own weight. It's trying to be so epic. It mostly works for me, though. I found myself mostly enjoying it, and I have a feeling I'll probably enjoy it more as I give it more listens. Yeah, I don't recall this track at all. I know somewhere in my subconscious these tracks are buried, but wow. So overall, I would say that Use Your Illusion 1 is a much better album than I remember. I think there are definitely more good than bad. I think the album might be a little bit bloated by its own weight. It is 16 tracks long. I don't think it needed to be. Of course, this was the early days of CDs. And I think one good thing about the vinyl era before the CD era came along is that it forced musicians to pick their best tracks for their album, because you could only fit so many onto a vinyl record. With CDs, we could fit a lot more. And oftentimes artists would record a lot of tracks, more than what actually made it onto the album, but they'd have to pick the best ones. And then some of the lesser tracks would end up being the B-sides to your singles. And of course, CDs also killed singles. Now that CDs are kind of going away and it's just vinyl and streaming has rebirthed, in my opinion, the single. It's given rebirth to the single now. But yeah, definitely a much stronger album than I remember. Not long ago, we got an anniversary re-release of Appetite for Destruction. I would say it's probably a safe bet that we'll see anniversary re-releases of both Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2. And so I think I definitely want to own this album now. But I'm going to wait for that anniversary re-release, which I think is probably more than likely going to happen. And so that's Use Your Illusion 1. That's my reaction to it after not having heard it in forever. For the most part, it feels like I'm hearing it for the first time because, like I said, there's only a few tracks on this that I actually remembered. Live and Let Die, remembered Don't Cry, remembered November Rain, and that's all I really remember from all that time ago. So this all feels new to me again. And so thanks so much for joining me on this. If you like what I'm doing, be sure to click like, click subscribe, and smash the bell notifications icon so you can know when I release new videos. I want to thank my mighty patron supporters who are helping me make more videos more often. If you'd like to be a patron supporter, please go to patreon.com/TJR, the original. And look forward to doing this again. And we will check out Use Your Illusion Volume 2. And I'll listen to it again for the first time. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.